Hi, I'm Mike Bethia, the founder here at KNOXX Career Networking, and welcome to another edition of KNOXX Talks. KNOXX Talks is a series of interviews with community leaders and local employers where we discuss our city and the positive things happening here while also giving our guests a chance to share more about themselves and the organizations they represent. KNOXX is a recruiting platform giving area candidates meaningful visibility and a chance to share a video introduction of themselves for employers, summarizing how they can help a company while employers finally get a clear sense of what candidates in the talent pool can offer. We hope to see you on KNOXX. Enjoy this week's edition, and thanks for watching.
Thank you, Mike. Hello to everyone watching. Welcome to another segment of KNOXX Talks. I'm Susanna Matthews, Director of Engagement here at KNOXX, and we're certainly looking forward to hearing from today's guest, Chad Stafford. Chad is the president of Occidental Management and the incoming chair of the Wichita Independent Business Association, or WIBA, as many of us have come to know them. Chad, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's begin with your Wichita story. Can you take viewers through your background here in the city and the path that led you to where you are now?
Well, interestingly enough, as we're talking about talent recruitment and attraction, I grew up in Kansas City and moved to Denver because Kansas City just was Kansas, and I needed a different viewpoint of the world. So moved to Denver for 10 years, and I was in acquisitions and finance in commercial real estate, and took a company public and then started another private one. And as my wife and I decided to have children, she was from Wichita, and so we decided great family place, great education, good community. So we decided to move to Wichita. So like many from Wichita that weren't born here, I came because my spouse was, which is something obviously we want to change going forward. But I moved here a little over 7 years ago, and I met with our Occidental's founder and CEO, Gary Oborny, and he and I hit it off and decided that at that time Occidental was about a fifth of the size it is today. And with my background in acquisitions and finance, Gary and I were philosophically aligned on how to grow the company and implement operations to help that growth. And so fortunately for us, it's been 7 years of rapid expansion and growth in Wichita, which is our headquarters. We have some other assets in Kansas, but Wichita is our primary base and our headquarters, and proud to be here for sure.
Well, we're glad that your spouse had that sway to bring you to Wichita, and glad to hear that things are accelerating so well with Occidental. Can you share a little bit more about Occidental Management and WIBA, maybe specifically the mission, and what it is that kind of sets them apart?
Sure. Occidental, Gary founded the company in '97. And primarily in commercial assets, so office and retail, a little bit of industrial, but we're a turnkey real estate company, which means we not only have development and design capability in-house, we also property manage everything we own, we broker what we own and work with the other brokers here in town, but we drive the project from start to finish and then operate it long-term on a cash flow basis. So our vision and what we do is simply to bring value and quality to everybody involved. So that means our partners, our investors, our employees, and most importantly, our customers. And I would say, segueing into what does that do from a WIBA perspective, I think it's a very similar value proposition in that for a organization with just under 400 members, most of which are small business owners and operators. So you're dealing with people that have to try and operate or own a business among a lot of changing regulatory environments and global marketplaces, that they need a voice and they need an advocate, and that they need like-minded people that they can network with and share with, and that's really what we've become is a great way to meet people that have similar circumstances going on in their business. Not that their businesses are similar, but the value there is you're going to go sit down with me, who has a company with 25 employees. And I'm going through some of the similar things that you might be going to as a growing business with 10 employees. And so that piece and the synergy created from having those kinds of events and that type of membership is a great benefit, and one that is really not in any other organization here in Wichita.
It sounds like there are some meaningful relationships that are created through
Absolutely.
WEBA, to be sure. So you said that you have lived here for 7 years. You've also lived some other places. Are you able to give some perspective as to the changes that you've seen take place in Wichita? And, as a community, since you have those other perspectives to compare to, are we finally beginning to make the pivot?
I certainly think we are, and I think we're on the front end still, which is exciting because we get to be involved in that. Having lived in Denver where they re-energized the entire downtown core when they added Coors Field, and then all of a sudden 10 years later you have a booming metropolis down there that is really vibrant. I see the same things here in that you've got a lot of private investment coming into downtown, just like our purchase and redevelopment of Union Station. That's an iconic downtown, actually for the whole city, icon that we're proud of, that we were able to purchase that and then get the first phase of it completed. It's 100% full. I think you see the same things when you look at the multifamily development that's happening downtown. Certainly, the announcement that the Cargill divisional headquarters is going to be our neighbor, which we love. And that's 900 jobs down here. So what's exciting, I think, about it is you start to see some density and the momentum that was created, back when I moved here, so in 2010 and 11, when we were really getting the project downtown rolling, it was a lot of heavy lifting, so to speak. And I think now the momentum has been created such that you've got people from out of town. I have friends that are developers in Kansas City that are now in projects down here because they see the viability of the market, and that's very impressive as well. And I think from a Wichita Independent Business Association perspective, we like that too, because that means things are growing. People are seeing the value of investing in this community, and it also drives more advocacy and need to really engage on a political front to make sure that those things can happen as smoothly and as quickly as possible. And a good example of that is yesterday was Small Business Day on the Hill in Topeka. And we had myself and 15 other members of WIBA were up there meeting with the South Central legislators and actually working on some bills that are important to us and giving them some feedback from the small business community about what's important to us. So all that said, it's been an incredibly exciting time for Wichita.
Well, if you're a small business owner, here's your mouthpiece to our state legislators. When WEBA was approached by the Higher Local Challenge and asked to get involved as a community partner, what drove WEBA to become engaged with the challenge?
Well, actually, it's a perfect fit for an economic development program that we put in place last year in partnership with the city. We partnered with them, and we put in place a certain number of tactics that we wanted to employ, because I think the city realized what you just said, is that WEBA is really the mouthpiece for small business. Yes, we have the chamber and other organizations that are also involved, but our members are really, we have a couple of big ones, but most of them, 95% of them, are small businesses, and they looked at it and said, how can we engage, or who can we engage with to help drive growth and help and some direction. And so our economic development initiative, actually, we worked with businesses not only to help them through a regulatory process or to put them in contact with someone at the city or a bank that helped them with financing. In some cases, we even helped them with business planning and just structuring of a business. But in the end, we also partnered with Workforce Alliance, which is a member here, and we did two job fairs with them that were enormously successful. And in fact, out of those two events alone, we saw over 35 job placements right there. And in total, our economic development package that we worked on with those businesses in the job fairs created 162 jobs with an average salary of just over $31,000. So from an economic impact, WEBA was able to generate over $5 million of income that's hopefully spent locally, or most of it spent locally, that wasn't there before.
It's fantastic. Well, by now we're all familiar with the Chung report and specifically the Human Capital Challenge that is laid out in the report. And of course, the Hire Local Challenge campaign does hope to do something about that, to retain Wichita's top talent. So what would be your message to community leaders and businesses, and as well as candidates, about getting involved and maybe why they should pay attention to this Hire Local Challenge that's going on?
Well, I think it starts early, and so I think we've got to have great engagement with not just our colleges, not just WSU and Friends and Newman and Cowley and Butler and those. I think that's in place to some degree. I really think it involves more mentoring with high school and even middle school students. And at WEBA, we were fortunate enough to team up with Jardine Middle School, and we created a grant and got some additional funding from Phil Ruffin, who sees the value of entrepreneurship at an early age. And we redid completely with all new equipment and a redesign of the Jardine Middle School STEM lab.
Wow.
And in addition to that, so we've been able to provide some mentoring capabilities to that school and to those students. And really, I think the key is not anything really super technical or hard to do. It's more or less, I want somebody in this community that's a high school, college, junior high, to know me enough to when they get out and get ready to want to find a job in Wichita, they feel comfortable calling Chad Stafford and saying, hey, I want to be an architect, and I know you're not an architect, you probably know one. Who can you introduce me to? Because I think the more of those connections and the more opportunities we have to just open the door for people, the more that networking in the community will hold it together and grow it.
You know, that's a classic concept or method of connection that you described, but maybe a little bit of a lost art these days. So that's really refreshing to hear you say that. KNOXX is excited to offer our local talent a video-driven platform so that they can get more meaningful visibility in their job search in the community. And we've been asking all of our guests to share their thoughts about that type of technology and how video can help make that match between employers and candidates. You personally have gone through the time and the frustration of wasting time in the recruiting process and being buried in resumes. So what are your thoughts on the video-centered approach that KNOXX takes in recruiting?
Well, I think the key about it that's exciting is you can get a feel for someone's sense of urgency and their passion that you cannot read about on a piece of paper.
Well put.
You know, I can be the most dry and an emotional person in the world, but have this terrific resume of all these accomplishments and all this stuff. But if that doesn't fit your culture, and ultimately that's what you're hiring based off, is not only is this person qualified, and you can see that perhaps on paper, but do they have the passion, the sense of urgency, and do they fit the company culture I'm trying to grow? So to me, by being able to see someone, hear them speak, how they speak, you know, are they fluent? You know, do they exude passion when they're speaking about themselves and about what they want to do? All of those things are just critical. And to your point, it's hard to do that until you have 1 million interviews with people. So getting that up front is a great piece of information.
I like how you framed that. Let's turn our attention back to WEBA now. WEBA and the City of Wichita did join forces in 2016 to partner on some workforce development initiatives, and you kind of referred to that earlier. Can you share more about that new alliance and what our viewers can expect from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the overall vision is WEBA to be a focal point to help small business grow here and continue to grow. And whether that's, again, opening doors to, hey, we need a small business lender. I don't understand the Small Business Administration's loan process. Can you help me? Yes. I don't understand how to do a business plan. Can you help me? Yes. And we're doing these things hands-on. So it's not just that we're a connect the dots group, which we are, but we'll grab you by the hand and sit down with you and spend some time. Our president of the organization, Ray Frederick, spent an inordinate amount of time sitting down with people, just helping them craft, hey, here's how you need to position this, here's how you want to say this. You know, these projections, you probably need to really think about this, because Ray was a business owner, and so he has great experience with that. But the combination with the city has been so beneficial, I think, because there's only so much a city can do to really be the mouthpiece. And I don't think the city wants to be the mouthpiece. I think they want to be the support mechanism, maybe the skeleton to help move things along, so to speak. But they did want to make sure that the small business community had an advocate, a mouthpiece, and the ability to help source funding, jobs, scholarships. We gave $50,000 in scholarships to various groups and colleges to help further students that are either trying to retrain for a new job here in Wichita, or find a first-time job here in Wichita, but it is local focus, which we're very excited about.
That is so refreshing and so encouraging to hear that Wichita Independent Business Association is so hands-on. So I applaud you for that. Speaking of alliances, KNOXX and WEBA, along with our friends at the Workforce Alliance, have decided to join forces and launch a career fair event that will bring out candidates and employers. And that is coming up, right? That's just right around the corner. Can you speak a little bit about that event?
Absolutely. I believe it's on April 26th. And we're excited. Again, we did a couple of job fairs last year with Workforce Alliance. And as I said, they were just tremendous. And the first one, we actually had Spirit, which drove a lot of people to come out for it. The second one did not have Spirit as one of the companies. We did have 36 companies in total come to those events. But even without Spirit in the second one, we had over 400 applicants come through the door, and that was more than we had the first one. So I think there's a lot of momentum around those events. I think with your guys and KNOXX's inclusion in that, what's going to come out of it is people are going to be more prepared professionally, and that was a big key coming out of it. Is this is how you need to look, talk, dress, and present yourself to get these jobs. And there's one thing, as I said earlier, that's important in that, and that KNOXX is certainly involved with, is how to display your passion, your sense of urgency, and how you would fit into a company's culture. And as I said, you just can't do that with paper.
So how can candidates who may be watching, or companies who may be watching, who want to get involved, who like what you're saying, they want to get involved, how can they do that, both with the Hire Local Challenge and with the career fair that you spoke of?
Actually, any of the partners that are involved to date have all the information needed to get in contact with and get people plugged in. So whether that's contacting the WEBA office, or Ray Frederick, or myself, or you, or Workforce Alliance and Keith Long, they've been great at getting those people that are interested in participating to the right place. So any of us would be happy to help.
All right, great. So let's give them maybe a little nugget of knowledge then that they could take to the career fair with them as we wrap up. How can a candidate best stand out and attract positive attention, really taking some of this wisdom to the career fair with them?
Well, as I said, or I learned early on, if you show up on time, dressed appropriately, and ready to speak, that's 95% of the deal. And if you're willing to show up, be confident, speak with enthusiasm, and exude confidence that you're a good person, and ultimately what companies want to hear is, how can you add value? I'm looking for value creation. And I'm not looking for someone to just punch a clock. And I don't think most people today are. You're not out looking for a job so you can punch a clock. So show up and exude confidence and passion and a sense of urgency to create value for someone, and they'll definitely want to hire you.
Well, you have done all those things and more today. You're hired. But we appreciate you coming in and spending time with us, and we definitely wish you a successful event on April 26th. Keep up the good work that you're doing, both at Occidental and with WEBA, and just appreciate you talking to us about the Hire Local Challenge.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you. If you're an employer wanting to discover Wichita talent during the Hire Local Challenge, I encourage you to go to www.hirelocalchallenge.com and activate a KNOXX employer profile. Use the promo code HireLocal17, and you'll get a special rate that will allow you to use the KNOXX platform during the Hire Local Challenge to post jobs and review candidate profiles. If you'd like more information or a demonstration of the KNOXX platform, we invite you to contact us at 316-425-7200 or email us at info@knoxx.net. If you're a candidate wanting to be visible during the HLC, go to our event website and create a candidate profile. You'll have the opportunity to upload a brief video introduction where you can speak directly to the employers and tell them how you can help their companies. Thank you for watching. We'll be introducing another community partner next week, so keep watching for posts on the KNOXX Facebook page and Twitter feed. If you have questions about the Hire Local Challenge, feel free to message us on social media, or if you just want to stay up to date on our progress, go to facebook.com/KNOXX and click on the sign up button. As we close, we want to extend another big thanks to World Studios and Lightspeed VT as our video production partner. They have made the production of these interview sessions possible. And if you are needing video-related production or virtual training services, please consider using them. We'll see you next time on KNOXX Talks.